A $1.5 trillion dollar bank just dropped a huge $100 trillion Bitcoin price prediction. And they said this on national legacy media. That's a 50x from here. Just to translate, a 50x from 104,000 is $5.2 million. And again, this is a large bank, a $1.5 trillion bank that is saying these types of predictions. This isn't just Bitcoin X. Now, these are large players. These are institutional players. And that tells you how they feel about the future of Bitcoin. In my 9 years in Bitcoin, I've never seen this much FOMO in my entire career, my entire time holding Bitcoin. In fact, I've been saying it this entire cycle. This has been the most bullish cycle from a news perspective, a little bit bearish on the price perspective, and I'm sure the price is going to catch up sooner rather than later. Anyways, I'm going to play you guys a clip from Franklin Templeton, and then, of course, me and my legendary co-host, Optimus Fields, will break it down.
I am a big believer that people's understanding of these new opportunities and people's excitement about these new opportunities is really starting to ripple out from the original core sets of investors. And as more companies, as more asset managers, as more individuals, as more advisors become understanding and excited about this growth opportunity, that demand is going to continue to come in and expand the markets. Don't forget, crypto is still only looking at about a $3 trillion market cap. That compares to 100 trillion of assets that are being professionally managed. So there's plenty of room for this allocation and these interests to grow. And when there's incoming demand, that really does create a underpinning of support in a market that allows prices to really have that stability that lets them explore whether they can push higher.
So we're going to break down exactly, what is the total opportunity, right? So first she said, she's basically making the argument that there's $100 trillion that they can, that quote unquote Bitcoin and crypto could tap into. And I would like to make the case that it's much larger than that. Saylor also believes that as well. So we're going to be making the case for that. But first, she says that all this demand is coming, all this demand is here. Let's check out this latest article by Cointelegraph. BlackRock ETF scoops up 3.25% of Bitcoin supply as new money dries up. It continues to say BlackRock's spot Bitcoin ETF is nearing the $70 billion mark in assets under management, signaling growing interest from institutional investors, even as retail inflows appear to be slowing. BlackRock, the world's largest asset manager, has acquired over $69.7 billion worth of Bitcoin through its iShares ETF, representing over 3.25% of total BTC supply. BlackRock's iBet ETF now controls over 54.7% of the market share of all U.S. spot Bitcoin ETFs, which holds 6.12% of the current Bitcoin supply. BlackRock's milestone comes less than a year and a half after U.S. spot Bitcoin ETFs debuted trading on January 11th, 2024. Now, what's really interesting about this, ladies and gentlemen, is this is the best performing ETF in the history of ETFs in terms of attention. As you could tell, Franklin Templeton is a player, a much smaller player, but they are a player in terms of they have their own ETF as well. So obviously a tremendous amount of demand. What did you say? There's a tremendous amount of demand. Opti is telling me to read a specific line, and it says, quote, large institutions like BlackRock are a big part of the price action, and supply scarcity is an important driver right now. The analyst told Cointelegraph, adding that Bitcoin has historically outperformed global assets after major geopolitical conflicts. I mean, the fact that World War III almost started a couple days ago, and the fact that Bitcoin corrected, I think, from 109 to 103, I think was kind of like the bottom, and now we're kind of channeling sideways, I think is a testament to how bullish people feel about Bitcoin. We have been 40 days over $100,000, ladies and gentlemen. 40 days over $100,000 Bitcoin. This is something I think that we all imagined, we all dreamed, but it's one thing dreaming, and it's one thing actually living through these kind of historical days. So, anyways, moving on to the next part. Jesse Myers again breaks it down. She says, "Oh my God, there's so much opportunity. 100 trillion. That's a 50x. 50x, ladies and gentlemen. People are lucky to get a 10x in their lifetimes, right? So she's talking about a potential 50x." And Jesse Myers created this graphic that essentially has gone viral since then. It's been used in many presentations, including Michael Saylor's very famous one. And he makes a case that Strategy will own $70 trillion of Bitcoin in 20 years, making it by far the most valuable company in the history of the world. Bitcoin treasury companies will hold 50% of all BTC, way more than Bitcoiners are prepared for. Thread on why and a personal announcement. So he goes on to say, to set the stage, there are 1,000 trillion, I think that's quadrillion, right, of assets value in the world. Bitcoin is just 0.2% of the global wealth. Saylor's perspective is half of all capital is simply looking for the best store of value. Bitcoin is the best store of value asset. Store of value capital will, I don't even know what that word is, um, flow towards Bitcoin.
Osmotically?
Osmotically flow
I don't know
towards
what I mean.
Bitcoin, right? Saylor's view is half of all capital is looking for the best store of value. So out of the 1,000 trillion, Saylor is making the case that half of that is looking for the best store of value over time that will flow into Bitcoin. So it's a lot more than a 50x, right? So, I mean, just do the quick math 450 divided by two, that's a 225x. You multiply that by 104, where we're at right now, that's a $23 million per coin, which sounds absurd. Because of this, Saylor expects Bitcoin to grow to a $280 trillion dollars in total by 2045. Bitcoin would be 7% of global asset value. Saylor expects Bitcoin to grow to 7% of the global wealth in 20 years. Again, Saylor using Jesse Myers' thing, he just updated it, right? And then obviously the total global assets are going to grow by 2045. That's how it works. And Bitcoin, like conservatively, is only going to be 7% of that. I don't think that's anything too crazy. So he goes on to say this would mean $13 million per Bitcoin. Saylor publishes his expectations for how BTC gets bid up to these prices and how are his expectations tracking so far. So he's expecting for the next 4 or 5 years, he's expecting Bitcoin to have a between a 50 to 37% CAGR, and then after those next 5 years between 32 and 20%. I mean, a 20% CAGR just in general is going to beat basically everything. Then S&P index fund, it's just going to beat everything. It's a solid return. And again, compound interest is insanity. Just go on the internet, look up a compound interest calculator, and just plug in some numbers, and you'll see where it goes. Over the last 2 years, an exodus from fiat assets, bonds, and money has already begun. Hard money assets, Bitcoin and gold, are where things are shifting. Saylor is right, and this seismic transition will continue. It goes on to say 2023 and 2025 changes in line with Saylor's expected changes to 2025 to 2045. So just making the kind of the case for all these assets. There's $318 trillion of capital in bonds looking for greener pastures, but most of this is tied up in fixed income institutional vehicles with strict mandates. This must find yield. That's where Bitcoin treasury companies come in. So he kind of breaks it down. And it goes on to say, Saylor has already figured this out. He remade strategy as a capital pump to accelerate the flow of capital from bonds to Bitcoin. STRK and STRF offered 8% and 10% yields to bond capital starved for attractive yield on a risk adjusted basis. MSTR takes that money and buys Bitcoin. So he does a very cool infographic here. Bitcoin strategy, convertible notes. Saylor's coming for the bond market. I mean, Max Kaiser has been predicting this, is basically saying, look, like Bitcoin just better than bonds, right? That's the case that he's making. So, anyways, Opti, before I continue, do you have any thoughts on this, bro? I mean, like you have Franklin Templeton basically saying, look, 100 trillion. Saylor's basically saying, Jesse Myers is saying 450 trillion. Michael Saylor's going after the bond market, which has 318 trillion as of 2025. Of course, it's going to grow over time. So, what's your thoughts on this, man? Overly bearish, overly bullish? Thoughts, Opti?
Yeah, well, I think first of all, 100 trillion, like you said, sounds absolutely nuts right now. We're at a 2 trillion market cap, 50x from here. I know a lot of people are saying diminishing returns and you were never going to see a bull run pump again. But when you really look at those numbers, and this is global capital, again, 1 quadrillion or 1,000 trillion of global capital. If you don't think that Bitcoin's going to get more than 10% of that, like, what are you doing here? I think 100 trillion, realistically, I don't know the time frame. A lot of people have been saying 2030. Sailor's been saying 2045. But for all of us, well, rather, for a lot of us around my age, I think within our lifetimes, Nico and I were in our mid 30s. Well, I'm more mid. He's young 30s. I think 100 trillion is going to be super easy to get there. Like, I think it's an inevitability, even though I do believe in the idea that nothing is inevitable in life, right? But from what I'm seeing and from all the interest we're seeing, it seems like this is going to go much higher than $100 trillion market cap. Again, when you look at those charts from Croesus, Bitcoin isn't just going to take, a third of the bond markets. Bitcoin's going to take, if we are correct, and I think we are, Bitcoin's going to take half of the world's wealth, if not in our lifetime at some point. So I think 100 trillion is obviously bearish long term. But again, this is a long-term view. And a lot of people in life, they have a very high time preference about things. They only really care about what's going to happen next year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years from now. What's going to happen when I can retire? Can I retire early? And I think the fundamental shift here is what the lady, I think her name was Sandy at Franklin Templeton, was saying, is what we've been saying on the show for a long time, that the education, or rather the signal around Bitcoin, is starting to permeate throughout the culture, throughout these high level financial suites. Like, they are talking about this. They have to kind of go through their paces. They have to kind of grok Bitcoin, figure out what the actual use case is for Bitcoin. And I think Saylor, as much flack as he's been getting, I think Saylor is showing a very clear masterclass of what the use case is in just a one specific area, of course, bond markets. And we've been covering it. I've been joking about it. We are macro traders now. We are macro bros now, because Bitcoin is entering the limelight now. We are entering that position. And I think it kind of goes into what we always talk about is Bitcoin is money. It has to have that store of value, medium of exchange, unit of account eventually. A lot of people say it's all happening at one time. And I think this is kind of a similar scenario that we're seeing right now. First and foremost, we're seeing that Bitcoin is kind of siphoning wealth out of the bond markets. And as we kind of continue and see this, and more people, more really, I guess, authority figures or people with some clout and some wealth come into the Bitcoin industry, I think we're going to start to see this play out in equities and real estate and gold, et cetera, and art and everything else. It's just, these are the first steps, I think, to kind of show the use case for people that, hey, you probably, and we've been covering these different examples throughout the year, that first it was like, okay, buy 1%, buy 2%. Now we've gotten so high as 7%. It's only a matter of time until we get everyone out there, all of these suit coiners out here, everyone from the institutions basically saying, hey, you need at least 25%, 30%, maybe even 50% of your portfolio in Bitcoin. So baby steps to the world understanding what is actually going on. And if you're here today, you do have the inside scoop. You do see the future before other people can see it. And in the meantime, it is kind of boring, because we do have a lot of high expectations of where Bitcoin is going to eventually go. And we're just early. Once you're early, or rather, when you are early, you kind of look crazy. And then at some day, people are going to be like, how did you know? And you're like, well, I studied, bro. I put in the work. I proof of work. This is what it's all about. It is happening in real time. And I love to see this. Hold on. Even though we necessarily don't love the banks, I do love that they are generating the FOMO, that they're coming out here and being like, there is an actual use case. Not that we need their legitimacy here, but it does kind of make us look a lot smarter amongst our friends and family. It's like, how did you see that? Well, it's very simple. You just understand what Bitcoin is and everything else starts falling into place.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, look, it kind of sounds absurd. 50x, you're thinking about that, you're like, holy cow. But I remember those days. remember like the early days, like 2016, 2017, you were just ecstatic that Bitcoin was a couple $1,000s per coin. Like that was unbelievable. The fact that it got to 10,000 was unbelievable. The fact that it got to 20,000 was unbelievable. I think as it like gets bigger, it like starts to become this self-fulfilling prophecy, honestly. Like that's what I'm starting to notice at this point, where like, like Bitcoin just feels like it's gonna win. Like, I mean, when you have, Orange Man, the president of the United States, like advocating for it, we're gonna be talking about that during the news, the numbers segment. I mean, I think that should tell you everything you need to know in terms of, Bitcoin's potential from a regulatory standpoint, from an institutional standpoint, from like just the Bitcoin in the eyes of government, right? Like, I think it was one of the things that Saylor said that was like very powerful, right? Which is like, uh, the first country that uses their money printer to buy Bitcoin is going to win, right? And they're going to buy 20% of the supply. So, I mean, I 100% agree with Saylor when he says that type of thing, right? I think I think, I don't want to say arms race because it's not an arms race. It's a Bitcoin race to see who can acquire as much Bitcoin as humanly possible. Anyways, I do want to give a shout out to the live stream. 1,100 of you guys watching live between YouTube and X, and 50 of you guys watching live on Rumble. If you guys are enjoying today's show, make sure to smash that like button. Really, really helps with the algos and pushing this message forward. It's going to be a great Friday. Opti, I think during the culture, bro, we should bring back the meme review. We should review some memes.
I was thinking talking nodes, dude.
No, we did that yesterday,
but not enough people are running nodes. No, that was 2 days ago.
So no meme review. Okay.
Elaine, now I'm in trouble.
Elaine, you have to blame Opti.
All right, I can find some memes real quick. Let me. Okay. Memes. All right. I'll figure out some memes.
It's going to be a great show, guys. We have tons to talk about. We're going to do lots of breakdowns. First, we're going to start off with this crazy article coming out of Forbes. This is the headline. This is not Simply Bitcoin, title or thumbnail, whatever. The headline is Trump confirms massive crypto price game changer as trillions predicted to hit Bitcoin market. Absolutely massive. And then we have a clip from the Peter McCormack show. And it seems like a British MP, so a politician. He says, big fan of Bitcoin. BTC can break the power of an all over mighty state. So, I mean, like this is continuing to be kind of this trend. Bitcoin gives you the power back to kind of stand up and peacefully protest and reclaim back your financial sovereignty. Don't let anybody try to convince you that somehow holding Bitcoin is, dangerous to society. Don't let them psyop you into thinking that, because that's absurd in my opinion. And then something that we haven't been talking about all this week, and we've been wanting to talk about, Pakistan made a huge announcement during the Bitcoin conference, and we actually have some follow-ups. They apparently have been talking to Trump's team at the White House. They spoke to Michael Saylor, and of course, our buddies over at the IMF are revolting, and they're concerned over Pakistan and Bitcoin mining and all this stuff. It's kind of weird, man. It's very strange to me. Like, it seems like to me like Bitcoin is exposing all these incentives, and it's exposing the IMF. Like, it doesn't, to me, I'm looking at this and I'm like, why is the IMF so concerned that El Salvador made Bitcoin legal tender? Why were they so hell-bent on reversing that law? Why are they so hell-bent on attacking Pakistan on how they're allocating some of their electricity to mine Bitcoin, right? Like, why are they so concerned about that? Could it be, I'm speculating here, there's no way to know this for sure, that the IMF is more concerned about controlling these developing countries rather than actually helping them? Because if they're in the business of helping them, they would let Bitcoin thrive. But I think that they're more interested in protecting their own moat than they are in protecting the benefit of these countries. That's what I'm seeing. As a Bitcoiner, as an observer, I'm not seeing the IMF act in good faith. I'm seeing the IMF act out of self-preservation and self-interest, which means that, again, like, and I don't blame them, right? It's an organization, it's an institution. It wants to survive. But at the same time, the reason the IMF is supposed to exist is it's supposed to help these countries, you know, get a footing right, provide financing for them so that they can develop their economies. But it doesn't seem like they're interested in that. It seems like they're more interested in suppressing a lot of these economies, right? Or kind of, I can't even say that word on YouTube, but trying to control them in a way, right? So, anyways, guys, it's gonna be a great show. We have tons to talk about, so stay tuned. We're gonna hit the numbers segment in just a second, but before we get into that, I do want to give an extremely special shout out to, of course, Simply Bitcoin's lead sponsor, the best place to build your automatic self-custody Bitcoin stack, bitcoinwell.com. To get started, go to bitcoinwell.com/simply, and you put in your email address. It takes 2 to 5 minutes to get signed up, and bada bing, bada boom, you're ready to buy Bitcoin. What makes Bitcoin Well special, what makes them unique, is that, again, they're automatic self-custody. What does that mean? That means that they don't even let you leave your Bitcoin on the exchange. As soon as you buy Bitcoin and the funds clear, it goes straight to your self-custody Bitcoin wallet address. They don't even give you the ability to leave the funds on the exchange. Also, when you buy Bitcoin on Bitcoin Well, you earn something called Bitcoin Well points. And you could use those points towards a variety of prizes, like a Simply Bitcoin hoodie, an orange Cybertruck, a BitAxe, or you can play the Bitcoin Wishing Well contest, which we're going to be doing live for you guys right now. Get your Lightning wallets ready, and first person to scan the QR code will win. Today's prize is 703 sats. Every time you toss a coin into the Wishing Well, you win Satoshis. And you have an opportunity to win up to 1 million Satoshis every single time you toss a coin into the Wishing Well. If you go to bitcoinwell.com/simply or scan the QR code on your screen or check the video/podcast description, you get 3 tosses into the Bitcoin Wishing Well, 3 opportunities to win up to 1 million sats. That's $1,000 at today's prices. All you got to do is sign up and buy a little bit of Bitcoin. Anyways, guys, no more delay. Let's jump straight into the show. We have tons to talk about. We will be right back in just a second. I want to tell you guys about our sponsor, Stamp Seed. Is your Bitcoin in cold storage really secure? Are your seed words really secure? Stamp Seed's do-it-yourself kit has everything you'll need to hammer your seed words into commercial-grade titanium plates instead of writing them down on paper. Don't do that. Paper sucks. You want to literally stamp your seed into this plate of titanium. Your words are actually stamped into the metal plate with this hammer. So once your words are in, they aren't going anywhere. No risk of the plate breaking apart and your pieces falling everywhere. Titanium stamp seeds will survive nearly triple the heat produced by a house fire. They are also crush-proof, waterproof, non-corrosive, and most importantly, because this is generational wealth, time-proof. All things that paper is not, allowing you to hodl your Bitcoin for the long haul. I mean, here is the plate that they crushed. They put in water, they put a blowtorch to it, and as you can see, the words have survived. Stamp your seed on Stamp Seed. And you can use promo code SIMPLY to get 15% off anything on their store. Head over to stampseed.com today. All right, everybody, we are back. At the time of recording, the Bitcoin price is $103,660 per coin. Block height, 902,073. Sats per dollar, still under 1,000, 965. Market cap, 2.06 trillion. Bitcoin versus gold market cap, 8.66%. Decline from all-time high. If you're buying Bitcoin right now, you're getting it at a 7.4% discount. Realized monetary inflation, 0.84%. In the grand scheme of things, we are just getting the party started, ladies and gentlemen. Anyways, I got a couple. Let's start with the Trump article because it's massively bullish. It's uber bullish. I mean, I can't believe how bullish this article is. Let's check it out. This is not a Simply Bitcoin title. This is a article from Forbes. Trump confirms massive crypto price game changer as trillions predicted to hit Bitcoin market. I think this is something that we've been saying over the last couple of weeks, and it's all due to the passage of the Genius Act that just passed in Congress. By the way, if you guys are enjoying today's show, we're at 88 likes. Help us break 100 likes by the time we get to the 30-minute mark. So smash that like button if you guys are enjoying today's Simply Bitcoin Live. It really, really helps pushing us in the algo. And of course, we appreciate the Rumble audience as well. Follow us on Rumble, smash that like button. And of course, if you guys are listening to us on the audio platforms, whether it's Spotify or Apple Podcasts or I think Google Podcasts, appreciate your support as well. Anyways, so continuing to the article, Bitcoin and crypto prices have rocketed over the last year as traders bet on U.S. President Donald Trump's administration boosting prices. The Bitcoin price topped 100,000 late last year and has rebounded back above the psychological level after plunging along with stocks as a result of Trump's so-called Liberation Day of global trade tariffs, with a fresh Bitcoin price crash fear suddenly emerging. Now, as Coinbase issues a serious Bitcoin price warning, Trump has said that the Senate passing a key piece of stablecoin legislation will lead to massive crypto investment. It goes on to say, the Senate just passed an incredible bill that is going to make America the undisputed leader in digital assets. In fact, I have the video of it right now.
At the Coinbase State of Crypto Summit, I'm delighted to speak to some of the greatest visionaries and pioneers in the fields of tech and finance who are working to build a future powered by crypto. Many have called me the first crypto president. That's an honor. I really do consider that a very big honor, actually. And starting on day one, we ended the Biden administration's war on crypto. It was an absolute war and very unfair. And we unleashed American innovators to do what you do best, lead the world into new frontiers.
There it is, like the president laying down the law, basically saying the end of Operation Choke Point 2.0. If you're a Bitcoin entrepreneur in the United States, you're going to be free to innovate. The article continues to say, no one will do it better. It is pure genius. Digital assets are the future. Our nation is going to own it. We are talking about massive investment and big innovation. The stablecoin market, dominated by Tether's USDT and Circle's USDC, has rocketed from almost zero 10 years ago to 250 billion today. This week, U.S. lawmakers in the Senate voted 68-30 to approve this bipartisanship, guiding and establishing national innovation for U.S. stablecoins. Before the bill can be sent on to the U.S. President Donald Trump's desk for his signature, it must be voted through the House of Representatives. House lawmakers can either vote on it as written or pursue changes that will require a final round in the Senate. Quote, the House will hopefully move lightning fast and pass a clean Genius Act, Trump said. Get it on my desk ASAP, no delays and no add-ons. BT dubs, this is past the Senate. There's a very high probability that the Genius Act will pass. This will give massive confidence to traditional financial players, which are the ones moving today's market. This is something that Mauricio, the co-founder from Ledin, came on to explain yesterday. This cycle is different, ladies and gentlemen. This cycle is not being driven by retail. This I'm trying to find Barto. I can't find him. This cycle is not driven by retail like previous there you go. This cycle is not driven by retail. It's driven by institutions. Opti's going to pull up a tweet for us. Even Barto, a Bitcoin OG, he's been in the trenches with us since the 2017 era. Friendly reminder, retail investors aren't going to take us from 100K to 1 million. Institutions will do the heavy lifting. Bitcoin is becoming a mature asset. This is what Mauricio was saying yesterday, ladies and gentlemen. And with the passage of the Genius Act, with the rubber stamp of approval by the President of the United States, what is happening is essentially like all these institutions want that 30 to 40% annual CAGR. They want to jump on the Michael Saylor train. They see how MicroStrategy is performing and they want to perform that. They want to provide that value to their investors as well. So, yes, I mean, we are winning. This is what winning feels like. I understand it's a little bit boring right now. I understand it's a little bit kind of going sideways and you're just like, dude, like what the F is going on? Like this doesn't make blah, 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 blah. Just have patience, have faith. Number will go up. It's not a question of if, it's a question of when now. And again, don't expect the market to behave. Mauricio did such a good breakdown yesterday. I really recommend watching that episode. Don't expect the market to behave like it has behaved in the past. You have smart money buying the asset now, and they're not buying it on exchanges. They're not just buying it spot. They're buying it in a way not to move up the price because they're buying billions of dollars at the same time. So a 20% price increase means a whole lot less Bitcoin for them and a whole lot more expensive Bitcoin. But I would make the case that you're witnessing, ladies and gentlemen, because this is a Bitcoin show, and we have not forgotten our roots here at Simply Bitcoin. What I believe this is going to do in the long term is in a way, what I believe is a Trojan horse. Alex Gladstein wrote an amazing article back in the day called Bitcoin is a Trojan Horse for Freedom. And he predicted a lot of the things that are happening today. He predicted back then. He said that governments, institutions, tyrants would not be able to resist number go up technology. But what they get wrong is that they believe that they can separate number go up technology from freedom go up technology. And that's where they get it wrong, right? Here is a clip, by the way, of just proof of that, of Peter McCormack on his new show, The Peter McCormack Show, of interviewing an MP from the UK. And he's basically saying stuff that, you wouldn't imagine, because that the UK culture doesn't have that like kind of culture in the US, which is like, don't tread on me type of Ron Paul. The United States is based on this kind of like, even though it's not like this at all since 1913, but it's based on this mentality of like limited government, small government, meritocracy, individualism. The UK isn't based on that. And I think what Bitcoin is going to do to the world is it's going to spread this freedom mind virus everywhere, right? And I think stable coins are a Trojan horse. I think Bitcoin is a Trojan horse. I think one of the things that I always post on X every once in a while, and it does super well every single time, is I tell you guys, I'm like, look, governments think they're going to be able to regulate Bitcoin, but in the long run, it's ultimately Bitcoin that is going to regulate governments. And that's what I want you guys to internalize and understand. Anyways, let's check out this clip from Peter McCormack.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of Bitcoin. I'm not going to force it on anybody. I think that's a big opportunity for the UK. One of the things we're the first country in the world to successfully adopt credit cards was the UK. Mm-hmm. Right? They weren't invented here. The Barclay card started in the States, but the adoption massively different, and that's one reason why we're the home of fintech. Right? We've got that ecosystem here. So I really, really regret that successive governments have been far too timorous. The Bank of England far too timorous about Bitcoins. Massive disruption, massive challenges from that. But if you're worried about disruption, the best thing to do is disrupt yourself. And there's plenty of use cases that aren't nefarious, don't impede or restrict central banks. And they do have some of that ability as a break on the power of an overmighty state. So I was all in, and one of the agendas, just time didn't give me enough time to advance, was around Bitcoins and distributed ledger system. We got quite a few of the US firms at that time to come over and base themselves in the UK, A16Z and others, Coinbase. They've gone back now because the new administration in the US has taken a completely different approach.
So a couple things to kind of break down there, right? So first of all, you see the flag theory coming into place, right? How these A16Z and Coinbase actually went to the United Kingdom when they were under attack by the previous administration. I just played you guys a clip of the new guys. You understand what happened last November? Do you understand what happened? Like, I'll break it down. I'll make it very simple for you guys. Okay. Let me just explain it to you, simplify it, and just so you guys understand. All right. They messed with us and they lost the election, and Bitcoiners took over the White House. That's what happened. That's what happened. They poked us with a stick for like 4 years, and then we got so pissed off that we just started sinking all this money into American politics, because that's how American politics works. And we literally have a pro-Bitcoin president in the White House, to the point that the dude launched a meme coin like the week before he was going to get inaugurated. I mean, it's not ideal from a Bitcoiner's perspective, but if that is not a testament to the power and the influence of our movement, I don't know what is, right? So, and again, as you know, that UK politician pointed out, what happened? The new administration came in, they're pro-Bitcoin, and then all these companies went back to the United States, right? Like one of our partners, we love them, HIVE, right? They relocated their headquarters to the great state of Texas because of this new administration. So make no mistake, this Genius Act, like that headline from Forbes, like that's not an over exaggeration, right? That is a big win for our industry. Stable coins are a Trojan horse. You guys have to understand that. Any type of pro-Bitcoin legislation is a Trojan horse. You're not going to be able to disconnect freedom from number go up. You can't disconnect the two, right? So we still have to remain on guard. We still have to educate the masses on the power of self-custody, on becoming a sovereign individual, because you're not sovereign unless you have Bitcoin in self-custody in your own possession. If you outsource the custody of your Bitcoin, it's not your Bitcoin. To put it bluntly, to put it frankly, right? So yeah, man, but that's what happened. They messed with us and they lost. Like, it was that simple, right? And then they tried to walk it back, and they're like, Kamala for crypto, but we weren't buying it because we knew. Did you guys see the picture, Opti? If you could pull that up, I would love it. Did you guys see the picture? This was beautiful. This was poetic. When the Genius Act. So the Genius Act, essentially, it had to pass one of the first votes. And I was like watching it like a sports game. Like I was on the floor. Like look up Elizabeth Warren, stablecoin, and then Senator Lummis. And Elizabeth Warren was so effing pissed off this thing passed, because she understands the implications of this, right? She had her arms crossed and shit. It was absolutely hilarious. I think if you go to my timeline, Opti, and you just scroll, like you'll be able to find it. But she was so pissed off, right? So, this is what a democracy is all about. Like, this is what it's all about, ladies and gentlemen, right? You mess with us, you mess with our industry, you mess with Bitcoin, and expecting, there it is. That's the first. Look at that meme on the side, bro. The power of the internet, dude. This is crazy. So, like, you mess with us, and this is what you get. This is what happens. Like, clearly people weren't down for CBDCs. Like, I know Europe is like full steam ahead going this direction, and they don't give a flying F what their citizens think. But like here in the US, like, no, they're like, no, you know what? Like, F you guys. Like, we want an alternative, non-sovereign alternative to money. And that's what happened. So big win with the Genius Act. And also another thing too, Trump came through with his promise. Before the big, beautiful bill that he's passing, which is like part of, it's his policy, it's his mandate. That's what Trump wants in this big, beautiful bill that he wants to pass. Before that even happened, the Genius Act happened, right? So, and according to Senator Lummis, the next thing up is the Bitcoin Act, right? So the Bitcoin Act 2.0. So yeah, I mean, this is what winning feels. This is what winning looks like, everybody. This is what winning looks like. embrace it, feel it. Feels nice. Now we just need the price to start winning too, because that's not winning at all. The price is just kind of messing with us. All these wins and the price is like, messing with you. So yeah, I mean, look, bro, we're winning. This is a huge deal that this legislation passed the Senate. It's more than likely, I would give it a 95 to 99% chance it passes, it gets signed into law by President Trump, and then boom, you have the first massive pro-Bitcoin legislation, pro-crypto Bitcoin legislation, stablecoin legislation passed in the United States Senate. And I think much more are to follow, much more to come. And remember, the way that Bitcoin works is it kind of infiltrates from the bottom up, right? It aligns incentives. And infiltrate maybe is like too much of a strong word, but the way that it works is essentially it aligns incentives. So all of a sudden, we know RFK holds Bitcoin. We know Trump holds Bitcoin. We know JD Vance holds Bitcoin. I know Opti doesn't like Elon, but Tesla holds 10,000 Bitcoin. They're like one of the largest Bitcoin holders.
And Musk has a personal stack.
Right? So, all these billionaires, they have Bitcoin, right? So, like, my question to you is, do you think they're going to vote against their bags? The answer is no, right? So this is why Max Kaiser said, hey, Bitcoin is, there's an employee of the month. Who is the employee of the month this month, Opti? Who is the employee of the month? Who are we nominating for the month of June? Who is the Bitcoin employee of the month?
I don't know. I'm going to say Trump just based off this tweet here. Yeah, look at this tweet's great. Look, first of all, guys.
Wait. You got to read the tweet.
I know I was going to.
In his voice.
I can't do that.
No, you got to do it.
You can do it. You do it.
All right, I'll do it. The Senate just passed an incredible bill that is going to make America the undisputed leader in digital assets. Nobody will do it better. And it is pure genius. Digital assets are the future, and our nation is going to own it. We're talking about massive investment and big innovation. The House will hopefully move lightning fast and pass a clean genius act. Get it to my desk, ASAP, no delays, no add-ons. This is American brilliance at its best, and we're going to show the world how to win with digital assets like never before. Make America great again.
You're against Bitcoin.
Yeah, this is why you don't touch the soundboard. Okay, okay.
I'm doing Trump impersonations on a Friday, bro. I'll take it.
You wanted me to do it. Okay. Well, first of all, guys, I think the big elephant in the room, at least from my perspective here, is obviously a lot of us Bitcoiners feel, I don't know, unsettled that politicians are coming into Bitcoin, but I think we still underestimate just the impact of having literally the sitting president or the Peter McCormick with the MP, I believe it was, talking about Bitcoin. We have senators talking about Bitcoin. We have them embracing Bitcoin. Now, whether you believe they actually understand what is going on, I think is a totally different story. But the fact that we have this kind of cover right now, or you could say it's a bad thing, really. I think it's a fundamental shift from where we've been in the past. As we all know, we've covered it. This is why Nico got so animated literally 10 minutes ago, is because on the show, you guys saw Nico get super animated when the Samurai Wallet guys were attacked, when the Biden administration was coming after us. And this is a fundamental difference. And you can see that the ripples are playing out on a nation state level. And we're going to cover that in the news as well. Like, this isn't just a thing happening in the U.S. And look, love or hate the guy, but Trump going out there and being like, and then first of all, caveat, I don't really like the moniker of digital assets, but can't be perfect. But he's saying what we've been saying for a while, like we are going to win big. And I kind of love the narrative. You know me, I lean into the idea of being a propagandist, and I love good propaganda and good rhetoric because it gets people animated, it gets people going, it gets their animal spirits up. I want to wait and see if we will catch another FOMO kind of blow off top that we've seen in 2017. Me and Nico have been kind of joking on the show and off the show, is like, are we just trading a boring market now? Will we get the fun and the dopamine? We've been fried. Our dopamine's fried. And I still believe, I'm still a believer that we're going to see some crazy stuff. And really, like we've been saying on the show for a while, all of the news. Actually, I was talking to Sal this morning. I actually had to, switch up my training schedule, so I did it before the show. Absolutely got wrecked. Don't recommend working out in the morning. I don't like anyone in the gym in the morning, but that's a totally off-topic conversation here. But we were basically talking about this idea of just like, if everyone is really buying this amount of Bitcoin that they claim there is, it really goes into if this demand goes exponential, as we're seeing kind of throughout the narratives in the media, that there's going to be even more corporate treasury strategies. Potentially, governments are already buying Bitcoin. It's hard to see how the price can stay where it is, and it's hard to kind of believe that we are going to see another 80% drawdown. Now, everyone, I think we're kind of at the point where we were before we hit 70K, a few months ago or a year ago or whatever it was. At this time, it's all a blur. It's all one time, where we were just kind of like, yo, bro, I get it. Bitcoin's going up to the moon. Give me a time frame. When is Bitcoin going to get there? And then we're like, I don't know. At a certain point, it's going to go up forever. Do we know in the day-to-day? It's kind of like that one meme, and maybe I can find it real quick, where like you zoom into the Bitcoin price, it's all, choppy, sideways. And then you zoom out a little bit, and then you see these cycles. And then you zoom out completely, and it's literally just Bitcoin going all the way up and to the right, like a hockey stick. And I think we are at the same point right now where we are kind of tired with 100K. And everyone's like, literally just poke it. Can you do something? Can you guys please do something? Can we just get to 200K already? And I think that's a sentiment that we're all feeling right now. There's so much good news around Bitcoin in the past. Any amount of good news would fundamentally drive the price to go up, or even in the reverse. Any amount of very small news would make the Bitcoin price dump. And I think we are entering into this new era where it's not just one single news story that's going to make the Bitcoin price go parabolic. It's all of this pent-up demand that is going to find, again, the hard cap of 21 million. So I'm still convinced. I think, the end of this year, I'm getting the vibe that the end of this year is going to be like 2017. I think it's going to really get crazy November, December, Nico.
Yeah, listen. That's called motherfucking
Look at the chat.
fraud.
I am tired. This is how you earn your stripes.
This is how everyone feels. Okay, so I'm going to end this poll. I asked everybody, how was Nico's Trump impersonation? 25% of you guys said okay. 25% of you guys said great. 25% of you guys said terrible. And 22% of you guys said bad. So it's across the board. I tried my best. I tried to entertain you guys, and you're pooping on me. I don't like that. Anyways, guys, we still have a hell of a show for you guys. During the news segment, we're going to be doing a deep dive on what's going down in Pakistan. Pakistan is a massive country, has a huge GDP, has a huge population. And I don't know if you guys remember, but they made a major announcement at the Bitcoin conference in Las Vegas. They said that they had every intention of making Bitcoin a strategic reserve. The IMF responded. They freaked out. That's how you know we're over the target. So we have an update for you guys there. Saylor apparently got involved. He was having some conversations with them. So I thought that was really interesting. So anyways, we're going to do an update on what's going on with Pakistan's Bitcoin strategic reserve. Another country.
Wait, Nico. The Trump impersonation nuked the price. So blame Nico.
No, it's always Opti's fault. So anyways, it's a great show, guys. We still have a lot of news lined up for you guys. And then during the culture segment, as requested, we are bringing back the meme review. I don't know if you guys know this, but at the TFTC and PubKey event in Las Vegas, me and Opti did a live meme review. We brought it back.
I said a lot of bad words.
And we're going to bring it back today for you guys on the show. We're going to bring back the meme review. My wife is clapping in slow motion, smiling. I don't know if she's being serious or not.
She's sarcastic.
But yes. My wife said the meme review is the best segment. Anyways, guys, it's going to be a great show. Smash the like button if you guys are enjoying it so far. We still, again, like I said, incredible show lined up for you guys. Smash that like button. Drop a comment in the live chat. Really helps with the algos. Again, we love you guys. We're going to be right back in just 1 second after a quick word from our partners. Check them out.
I want to give a shout out to our partner, Ledin, the leader in Bitcoin-backed loans. Unlock the liquidity in your Bitcoin without having to sell your Bitcoin. They've issued $9 billion in loans to over 10,000 customers since 2018. I absolutely love these guys. Not only do I have an account with them, but I also have a loan. And what I love about them is that there are no monthly payments, and you could pay back the loan at any time. As soon as you send your Bitcoin as collateral, you'll have cash in your account within 24 hours. Over 1,000 five-star customer reviews, and they've never lost a single dollar or sat of customer money. Go to learn.ledn.io/simply today, and you'll get 0.25% off your first loan. I want to give a shout out to our partner, sat123.com. Sovereignty isn't just about your money. It's about your communications too. When the grid goes down, most people go dark. Cell towers fail in hurricanes, cyber attacks, and blackouts. But satellite phones, they don't rely on local infrastructure. Iridium has 77 satellites in orbit, giving you a direct line anywhere in the US, even offshore. If you hold your own Bitcoin keys, you should hold your own comms too. Sat123.com also has everything you need to start building your Bitcoin citadel. Starlink, battery backups, Faraday bags to protect your hardware wallets, and much, much more. It's a one-stop shop for anyone serious about resilience and off-grid independence. Stay connected, stay independent, stay sovereign. Go to sat123.com/simply today and use promo code SIMPLY to get 15% off anything on the store. I want to give a shout out to our partner, Cold Card. If you're serious about self-custody, Cold Card is the best Bitcoin hardware wallet. There is no second best. The Cold Card Q is the ultimate air-gapped Bitcoin signing device, complete with a full keyboard, large screen, camera, NFC support, and much more. Do you prefer something sleeker? The MK4 is trusted by hardcore Bitcoiners around the world. Both are built by Bitcoiners for Bitcoiners, secure and open source. Simply Bitcoin viewers get 5% off with promo code SIMPLY. Take self-custody of your Bitcoin today with Cold Card.
All right, everybody, scan the QR code on your screen. Go to the coldcard.com store. Use promo code SIMPLY to get 5% off anything on the store. Guys, remember, not your keys, not your cheese. You want to take self-custody of your Bitcoin. If you don't have self-custody of your Bitcoin, it ain't your Bitcoin. And you want the best Bitcoin hardware wallet on the market to ensure that self-custody happens. So you got to go to coldcard.com today. And again, use promo code SIMPLY. Get 5% off anything on the store. Scan the QR code on your screen right now, or check the video or check the link in the video/podcast description. Let's get straight into the news. What is going on in Pakistan? So Pakistan announces a Bitcoin strategic reserve. This was a major announcement that happened during the Bitcoin conference. Here's a direct quote. Today's a very historic day. Today I announced the Pakistani government is setting up its own government-led Bitcoin strategic reserve, and we want to thank the United States of America again because we were inspired by them. Massive, 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 huge announcement. And again, this is something that we predicted was going to happen. The moment that the Trump administration made those posts, the moment they said that they had every intention of making a Bitcoin strategic reserve, you were going to see a domino effect of many other countries starting to follow suit. And you want to know how I know we are winning? The IMF had a total meltdown. They did not like the news that Pakistan announced that they were making a strategic Bitcoin reserve, and they didn't like the fact that Pakistan plans to use some of their excess electricity to mine Bitcoin. Why the hell does the IMF care what Pakistan is doing with their electricity? That is a weird thing to care about. So the IMF has raised concerns over Pakistan's decision to allocate 2,000 megawatts of electricity for Bitcoin mining and AI data centers amid ongoing negotiations tied to the country's extended financial program. So this is the pattern that I see, okay? This is the pattern that I see over and over again when it comes to the IMF. Something that I've always said about Bitcoin is that Bitcoin exposes incentives. Okay. So it always exposes someone's fundamental incentives. It always exposes what someone actually wants to do. Not what they say they're going to do, but what they actually want to do. And there's a pattern here. Let me break it down for you. Number one, when El Salvador first made Bitcoin legal tender, the IMF had a heart attack. Not for real, metaphorically, but they freaked out. They said that this was going to be a danger to the country fiscally. It was going to essentially crash the country's economy. It was going to put them in a terrible monetary situation. That never came to fruition. Now, Argentina, right, was in a situation where their country was currently enduring hyperinflation at the time. This was before Javier Milei and the new government. It was enduring hyperinflation. And Argentina went to the IMF and they asked the IMF for a loan. Part of the conditions of that loan was that Argentina had to de-incentivize their citizens from adopting Bitcoin, even though the country was going through hyperinflation, right? Then El Salvador, they got a loan from the IMF. And part of that loan, the IMF set a condition. They had to reverse the Bitcoin law, and they basically had to say that, hey, Bitcoin is no longer legal tender, even though officially it is legal tender, like it's still acting as legal tender. El Salvador is still buying Bitcoin, but the IMF is going on in the press and they're saying El Salvador can't buy Bitcoin anymore, right? So now you have two countries, and now you have a third country. Now the IMF is dictating, has nothing to do with money, but they're trying to dictate Pakistan on what they can and cannot do with their energy resources. Excuse my language. Who the F are these people? Like, these are three sovereign countries, one in Central America, one in South America, and one in Asia, thousands of miles away from each other, and the IMF is hell-bent on stopping any type of Bitcoin adoption in all these countries. Why? What is the purpose of that? I don't understand. I don't get it. To me, right, and this isn't conspiratorial, this isn't whatever, to me, because everything that they predicted was going to happen didn't happen with El Salvador. El Salvador's economy is booming. Crime is down. Nayib Bukele is the most popular president in the Americas. When El Salvador passed the legal tender law, the first thing that they said that the economy was going to implode. It didn't implode. When they gave that loan to Argentina with the SDRs and all that stuff, Argentina's currency went into hyperinflation despite the loan from the IMF. You know how many loans the IMF has given Argentina and it still hasn't fixed the problem? So maybe it's time to try something new. And the established players, the established player, better said, why are they so hell-bent on stopping Bitcoin? Why are they so hyper-focused on Bitcoin adoption on all these developing countries where the people of those countries need Bitcoin the most? I think it all comes down to a very, very simple fact. I don't think the IMF cares about the well-being or the future of these countries. I think the IMF cares about the IMF, and the IMF cares about control. That's what it comes down to. The IMF cares about control. The IMF is a control organization. And all you have to do is connect the pattern. All you have to do is connect the dots. Because there is no evidence that points to me that says, hey, El Salvador adopting Bitcoin hurt their economy or hurt their position economically or hurt their security situation. There's nothing indicating that whatsoever. But because they're so obsessed about it, it tells me everything I need to know about what the IMF's true intentions are. Anyways, so the IMF has raised concerns over Pakistan's decision to allocate 2,000 megawatts of electricity for Bitcoin mining and AI. The initiative announced last week is designed to attract autonomous miners, blockchain companies, and AI firms to Pakistan. However, the IMF has raised red flags about the move, requesting urgent clarification. Who the F are these people? Like, it's just crazy. like, do you understand what, we always get lectured on democracy, right? We always get lectured on that, right? This is an organization, an institution that is based in Washington, D.C., that is dictating the policy of foreign countries all around the world. Doesn't sound very fucking democratic, excuse me. Doesn't sound very democratic to me, bro. Anyways, however, the IMF has raised red flags about the move, requesting urgent clarification from the finance minister regarding the legality of crypto mining. The legality? What do you mean legality? What do you mean legality? What does that even mean? And the power allocations, particularly as the nation struggles with chronic energy sources. Bitcoin fixes the grid because it provides a stable buyer of electricity. So it allows grid operators to properly plan into the future how much electricity they need to allocate, because there's always going to be a buyer of last resort. Bitcoin mining makes renewable energy viable without the need of government subsidy. So this whole narrative is bullshit. Anyways, particularly as the nation struggles with chronic energy shortages and fiscal pressures. Per the report, the IMF was not consulted prior to the announcement. Like, that's crazy. And is questioning the legal standing of cryptocurrencies in Pakistan. The fund has also voiced concerns over potential impacts on power tariffs and resource distribution. Okay, this is what I'm going to say. I think the IMF is in the business of keeping fiat alive. I think that's what the IMF is about. I think that's what it's always been about. I never forget in 2021 where, Nayib Bukele made his famous announcement here at the Bitcoin conference in Miami. I never forget that. I have that memory of it. And then for some reason, 2022 came around and no other countries followed suit. And I was like thinking about it. I was like, why did no other country follow in the steps of El Salvador? Look at how much success El Salvador got just from tourism alone. And then I started connecting the dots. The moment that the IMF put the condition on the loan to El Salvador that if you want this loan, you have to basically remove Bitcoin as legal tender. And then you have to understand that the IMF has dealings with more than half of every country on planet Earth. Half of the countries on planet Earth have dealings with the IMF. You want to know what no other countries followed in the footsteps of El Salvador after 2021? It was because of the IMF. The IMF are the protectors of fiat. That's what it's about. And if you're a protector of fiat, by definition, you're more concerned about control. You don't care about the prosperity of that country. Anyways, so moving on. Pakistan seems like they didn't really care, and they revealed Pakistan reveals Bitcoin reserve plan to Trump's crypto team at the White House. So they heard what the IMF had to say, and they're just like, you know what? I like what you're doing. And it's interesting too, like how long until the IMF, and here's the guy meeting with Bo Hines. Bo Hines, again, is like the official who's in charge of all this at the White House. And also they spoke with Mr. Michael Saylor, and I have the video for you guys.
Your time today. I'll stay in touch with Bilal. I would offer you just one final thought, which is it's a global economy. Pakistan has many brilliant people, and a lot of people do business with you. My company had less than $400 million to invest, but the markets gave me $40 billion because they trust us. And so the most important thing is leadership, intellectual leadership, and that they trust you. If the world trusts you and they hear your words and you speak articulately, the capital and the capability will flow to Pakistan. It's there. It wants to find a home, And that's what happened with our company. Our success is because we were clear and committed. And once the market decides who the leader is, they get behind the leader and they send their money to you. And I think they'll do it to Pakistan too. You have the most important thing, which is you have a commitment and a will and clarity here. So I look forward to working with you.
Also, to let's take a look at some of the like just general stats or general information about Pakistan. So this is a country that has a $373 billion GDP, and it has a population of 255 million people. That is roughly the size of the United States, just to kind of give you guys an idea of how big this country is. And yeah, man, I mean, this is pretty crazy news. We haven't covered it all week, but it is pretty consequential. And I know that it's consequential just by the mere fact of the sieving coming out of the IMF. Like the fact that the IMF cares so much, the fact that they're so upset that, you know, they're moving forward with this strategic Bitcoin reserve should tell you everything you need to know. Those are my final thoughts. Opti, what are your thoughts, brother?
Yeah, well, also that Saylor clip I think sparked a lot of controversy on Twitter. Everyone was saying that Saylor was going to join the Pakistan whatever crypto advisory board or whatever their name is. Turns out it wasn't news. There's some people in the chat that were saying that earlier. But the point remains the same, and we've been talking about it for a while. And actually, Nico brought it up because sorry, crazy text. Damn, I lost my train of thought. Oh yeah. This is what we've been talking about this for a while. So when El Salvador announced their, Bitcoin legal tender, we were expecting, whether it was Latin American countries or smaller countries around the world, people in trouble, essentially a lot of people that had loans from the IMF, etc., that we thought that we would see this happen a lot quicker. Obviously, in hindsight, we were able to see the data kind of come out, and the IMF was putting pressure on a lot of countries to not embrace Bitcoin. El Salvador was basically getting beat up in the press. Bukele was out there on Twitter just memeing them to death, metaphorically. And it was kind of a head scratcher why other countries didn't see this being the genius move that it was. Obviously, in hindsight, it's very easy to look back at El Salvador and be like, it was a no-brainer. They're going to go down in history as the first country to adopt Bitcoin. And now, as we're seeing more data and really more countries kind of embrace Bitcoin, especially the big kahuna we talked about it earlier, the U.S. essentially saying, hey, we're going to be the world superpower in Bitcoin or, crypto, stablecoins, etc. You're starting to see that other countries are looking at what U.S. is doing around Bitcoin and being like, we have to follow now. If we don't follow, we're going to fall behind. So at first, it's very easy to dismiss El Salvador because they're a tiny country. Again, I don't know what their GDP is, but the last time we checked, it was like 32 billion. Elon can buy like 100? I forget how much money Elon Musk has, but he could buy a lot of El Salvadors if he wanted to. And so it's very easy to dismiss that country. It's like, they're not a significant player. But when the U.S. does it, we've seen the ripple effects. We've seen every nation state, at the very least, have to consider it. But we've seen even bigger impact, which is we've seen China kind of turn around on their Bitcoin stance. We've seen Russia kind of tiptoe into it. We're seeing that every country around the world is like, hey, if I want to compete, I have to embrace this. And whether Pakistan is, a world player, a world superpower at this point, the fact that they are essentially saying, hey, Trump's doing it, the U.S. is doing it, we have to do it too, but also kind of being a little more aggressive about it, talking to Saylor, talking about literally following the U.S. playbook. I think now we're going to see a watershed moment where the IMF is going to freak out a little more because it's becoming uncontrollable. And everyone is I think we're going to see the dominoes fall very quickly because now it's like it's a no-brainer. If the U.S. is essentially putting the green stamp on it, the green light on it, a lot of countries are going to embrace it, even though we've seen the European Union, they continue to double down. They want to push a CBDC by October. You're starting to see the dynamics play out globally, geopolitically around Bitcoin. You're going to see literally what Nico and I have been saying on the show forever, the sovereign individual thesis play out, where some countries are going to embrace it. Bitcoiners are going to move there. They're going to become more prosperous. Other countries are going to fight it. They're going to try to issue their CBDCs. And those power dynamics are going to, I think, very clearly show that Bitcoin is the superior money here. If you don't embrace it, it's the superior technology. You're going to be left behind. And look, in the day-to-day when we go through this, it's very easy to be like, Bitcoin is boring. Go chase whatever, 100x gains in altcoins, or go buy gold. It's going to all-time high. But again, looking back, if you look at the timeline of events in the last 5 years, things are moving very quickly. And I know we do a day-to-day show, and sometimes we're thinking 10, 20 years down the line to kind of show you the blueprint, the framework of where we're going. Things are still happening very fast, and it's quite incredible to see it play out. Nico's almost on a decade here. I'm at 8 or 9 years here. And I look back to when I first got Bitcoin, and it was like a total different lifetime ago. But when you really kind of go chronologically through all the different events, they happen back to back, whether it's 9 months, 1 year, 2 years, every other month, something crazy happens. And this is why we always say it's so easy to lose the track of time during Bitcoin, because things are happening at a rapid speed. Bitcoin is literally, I think, getting adopted faster than the internet at this point. It's the fastest growing technology in the world. This is a paradigm shift happening in real time. This is the 10x improvement that the world is looking for. And a lot of people are still basically fighting it. They're still saying, no, this is a fad. It's over. Oh, why is it going to 100K? It's dumping today. And we're like, guys, the short-term price volatility doesn't mean anything. If anything, that's more a problem of fiat money and not us. But on that same time, Nico, we have been covering the news almost daily at this point of new headlines coming around and basically them saying oh, if Bitcoin and the traditional financial system get more intertwined, there's going to be a systemic risk in the system. And we're on this side no, that's your problem. We're completely outside of this. It's this has nothing to do with us.
It feels like projection, man.
It
feels
totally
like a projection. Someone in the chat, good comment. Pakistan is a serious player. They have, I don't know if we could say that these days. Their Bitcoin adoption will force other countries to act. 100% agree. Yeah, Pakistan is a massive player, economically, militarily. And yeah, man, it's pretty crazy how all of this is working out. Anyway, someone in the chat, IMF will be using Ripple, not
good.
Bitcoin. Good for them. Good for them. Anyways, we did break 400 live viewers on YouTube. If you guys are enjoying the show so far, make sure to smash that like button. Shout out to the Rumble audience, almost at 100 live viewers. And on X, we're at almost 2,000 live viewers. So if you guys are enjoying today's content, make sure to smash that like button. We still got a loaded show for you guys. Tons to cover. We are bringing back the one, the only legendary meme review hosted by Optimus Fields. Yeah, I'm excited. Let's check it out. No more delay. Here we go. The daily culture, ladies and gentlemen, to wrap up this week. Very strong.
I want to give a shout out to our partner, HIVE Digital Technology. Why HIVE in 2025? Unstoppable growth. As the first ever public miner, HIVE's position to quadruple their global footprint, making them one of the world's fastest growing miners in 2025. And with elite operations that consistently top the industry in Bitcoin mined per exahash, HIVE's now headquartered in the USA. They're lean and mean, they're green and clean, and they're rewriting the playbook on sustainable Bitcoin mining. You can catch the latest buzz at HIVE Digital Tech or at HIVEdigitaltech.com. I want to give a shout out to our sponsor, Casa. Casa makes self-custody easy and secure. As a Bitcoiner, I care about holding my own private keys, but multi-sig can sometimes get tricky. Casa nails it with a multi-key security. So even if one key gets lost or stolen, your Bitcoin stays safe. And you don't give up custody, meaning no one could access your Bitcoin but you. No seed phrase anxiety, no single point of failure. I've been telling my friends and family about Casa for years. Their UX and UI on their app is by far the best in the industry. Inheritance planning is built in, and they even offer Casa for Business if you're thinking about a Bitcoin treasury. Hit up casa.io today and use promo code SIMPLY to get 10% off Casa Standard or Casa Premium. Head over to casa.io.
Okay. They couldn't hear you.
Oh, we got a super chat.
Yes.
Appreciate the 1999 from Jan. Thank you. Appreciate the love. Appreciate the appreciation.
This is the best meme of the day. Buy the dip. It's not crashing. It's on a discount. Okay, buy the dip. Yeah,
dude.
Did it crash? It crashed when you did the Trump impression.
It's Opti's fault. I'm gonna ask.
I'm gonna mute you. Okay, so you guys have been asking for it. It's on the show. We hear it. We know it. We know you love it. For you new people here, for the new viewers, because UTXO was saying it in the Rumble chat. Probably a lot of you new viewers don't even know we do a meme review. So we used to do a meme review every single day, and I'm gonna watch the numbers right now. If it starts tanking, bro, it's done. Okay, you heard it here first. You don't blame Nico. You can blame me. Anyways, the meme review. Wait, what's that? What were we always saying in the past, Nico? Memes are the bullets. No. Tweets are the bullets. Memes are the artillery in this information warfare that we find ourselves on the battlefront of the internet. Or I forget. I haven't said it in so long.
Fuck, I forgot it too.
Okay, all right, whatever. You get it. We'll say it some other time. Here we go. The meme review. Oh, I wish I had a drum roll. A drum roll would be lit. Okay. Anyways, as I said,
we're so happy right now that this is back.
That's back. We're back, baby. We're back. Okay, here we go. First meme. So as it goes, usually send memes or I find memes and I say them. And
we have to explain what the meme review is. Okay,
dude, they know what memes are.
No. Listen. Okay. For anyone who's new to Simply Bitcoin, back in the day, what took you guys so long? Back in the day of Simply Bitcoin, we used to.
I just did that. I literally just did that.
Then review the memes, bro.
Okay, so I am gonna read some Bitcoin memes for the audio listeners. And part of the fun is I butcher them. Anyways, here we go. First meme is by our boy Robin Sayer, and he goes, "If you only remember one tweet of mine this entire week, make it this one." And there is a picture of Shaquille O'Neal as a available capital, and then I forget what this girl's name is. She's the gymnast, and it's available capital. And for the audio listeners, you know, Shaq's 7 foot tall, and she is like at his rib cage. So this goes into what we said in the beginning of the show. There is a huge amount of available capital that needs to find its way into Bitcoin. And this is a perfect example of it. All right, this next one is shouts out to who was it? Who was it in the chat in Rumble? It was Cudis84. I'm not there yet. I just wanted to show this one might be a little too spicy for the interwebs. Why? And it's a classic meme template where I'm not gonna where they're fighting and us Bitcoiners on the side don't care. We're just checking the Bitcoin price, eating our potatoes and something. Anyways. Next one is by Dip Wheeler on Twitter. And one of our favorite movies, if you're a Bitcoiner, you probably have seen this movie. You love this movie. It is The Big Short with that one scene where what's this guy? Adam Carroll is talking to the hedge fund manager and they're eating sushi and he realizes, oh my goodness, it's all going to blow up and it's a bubble. and I need to, get position. Well, we have him, eating the sushi all smugly, and Adam Carroll's losing his mind. And is his name Adam Carroll? I forget. Anyways, the point here, this is the new meme. This is the updated version. It says, quote, "We found a new way to hedge against war in the Middle East. It's called Fartcoin." This actually should have Brian Armstrong's face on it. Okay, next one. This one also kind of spicy, but hey, it's our partner here, so I think I think I can put it on here. Look at Nico's face. Maybe I gotta, temper it down. I haven't done it in a while, so we're going crazy. We have, young Leo DiCaprio with this Game Boy. I remember this Game Boy. It was my best Christmas ever. I got Pokemon Yellow with it. It was amazing. And he goes, "Mom, go to your room." 10-year-old me laughing because I get to play my Game Boy. And now, dude, can I say this? New version, Leo. Okay, that's for the audience. Can't say it. Me now with my cold card, chilling. This was actually a low-key ad read. Okay, next one. Carl B. Menger.
You should pay your taxes and follow the law. That was a joke.
I didn't even say anything. I didn't say a thing. Anyways, Carl B. Menger. I'm all in #Bitcoin. And we have a genie here. Basically answering wishes, and you see the Bitcoin nodes down here in the bottom. He goes, "I'm thinking of a number between 1 and 10 to the power of 22. If you guess the number, then you win 3.125 Bitcoin." And then we have the Chad Miners down here with his ASICs, and he goes, "Sounds good." If you don't get it, it's about Bitcoin mining. This is a nerd one. Okay, next one. Shouts out my boy Pedro, aka @re_tweet. And he got someone stretching, getting ready. Just, stretching out, and he goes, "Maxie's prepping to send the next engagement tweet about their favorite stock." Bitcoin stonks. Okay, this next one, kind of rounding it out. I'm not going to say it, but if you know, you might have to really be versed with the Twitter shit posting out there. But we got our boy Greg Zaj1. And he goes, "Eric Kaysen is one of a kind." And we have George Washington here, and goes, "I created a state." And then, is this your boy, Churchill? Is this Churchill, right?
My boy.
Your boy. Nico Churchill's every morning. He works from bed.
What are you talking about?
We got Churchill. "I led a state." And I'm guessing this is Mao Zedong here. And he goes, "I am the state." And then we have Eric Kaysen, and I can't say it, but you should hear him in your head. And if you know, you know. Anyways, that was fun. Okay, so now meme review. Meme review scores. Throw me a score in the chat, Nico. What do you rate these memes here?
It has to be appropriate scores. All right, it have to be appropriate scores.
Oh, it was Steve Carroll. My bad, Steve Carroll. Adam Carroll is the comedian.
It has to be appropriate scores. And what would I rate the memes?
Let's do chili peppers. We'll go from like a bell pepper to a ghost pepper. How spicy were those memes, Nico, and how uncomfortable did you get?
Okay, my wife is handing me a pink clip. I'm gonna give it a pink clip.
A pink clip. It was too spicy. All right, I'm gonna give it my half full gallon of water.
Zephyr Hills.
Well, it's not Zephyr Hills. It's Nico's really fancy water filter over here. That's what's actually.
I don't have a fancy water filter, bro.
Yeah, we all should have fancy water filters. Do not drink tap water. Okay, let's see. Do people remember about the meme scores? Okay. Yo, the Rumble chat one's great. Okay, we got one. Rodman Direct. And he goes, "I give it 1 more year until I'm missing the meme review." Okay. Fearlay goes, "I rate them Nico's Trump impersonation." Oh, sorry. No, it was the Japanese emperor Hirohito in World War II instead of Mao Zedong. My bad. Nico didn't see the meme. He's correcting me. Let's go. Lionel Bagno says George Washington. I think that's his score. Okay, and then we got, let me see. We've got a Kudis over here. It's not working for me. We got Kudis here, and he is giving it Meme score. Let me pull it up here for you guys. Meme score is 5 NVIDIA GTX 5090s. That's because Nico can't say NVIDIA. All right. UTXO, you might get censored here. Nico, can we?
No, Opti. Resist.
Okay. All right. No fun. Okay. UTXO, you got censored. Let's see. We got a poem here. Can we see this one? Can we read that one? Elaine's?
Guys, it's been an amazing show. I appreciate all you guys for tuning in. If you guys enjoyed today's Simply Bitcoin live, make sure to smash that like button. Give us a follow. Again, if you guys enjoyed the content, subscribe to us on YouTube, follow us on Rumble, follow us on X. We love you guys. We appreciate you guys. Thank you so much.
Wait, Nico, before we go. The price is pumping because of the meme review.
The price. No, but I actually have a poll up. And I asked, and I said, is the Bitcoin price dip Opti's fault? 70% of people said yes.
All right, never doing a meme review ever again. I don't care what you guys say. Actually, here, Nico. RF says, I give it 1.5 meg. Or I give it half a meg.
All right, everybody. We love you all. We'll see you guys next week. Enjoy your weekend. Go outside, touch some grass, eat some steak, get some sunshine, and enjoy your family. See you guys later.
Today's episode was brought to you by BitcoinWell.com, a Bitcoin-only platform on a mission to enable financial independence.